We celebrate the 4 teams that go on. But this season was about Duke and about Zion for so much of the way, and they fall 1 point short of the Final Four. How would you describe why they're not going? To you, if the word is blame or however you want to go with it, why is Duke not in the Final Four?
For me personally, first of all, I want to be very, very clear. I think it was a failure. As far as I'm concerned, if you're the Duke Blue Devils, you do not play to win conference championships. You play to win national championships. That was the standard. That was the goal. Everything is predicated on your goal. If we were talking about another program, then that would be different. It would be a disappointment. But because you walked into the season with expectations, once upon a time, we were talking about whether this team was going to go undefeated. Once upon a time, there were the ignorant amongst us who were actually talking about how this could be the NBA team potentially. I put that to bed months ago, but the bottom line is you had people talking about that nonsense. And here they are. You don't even make the Final Four. Zion certainly wasn't a failure. He showed up and played like a monster. The name that resonates with me is Cam Reddish, and I've been on this tip for a long time. The height, the athleticism, the shooting ability that this guy has, the model of inconsistency that he was throughout this season is real disappointing because I know what he can do. And there were so many games where I just didn't see it. And I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled from the perspective, we're talking about a guy, I used to watch Georgetown, St. John's. I watched Hoya Paranoia. I watched Nolan Richardson's 40 Minutes of Hell. I watched the Fab Five. I watched the Running Rebels. I watched this brother right here put on a show. When you see guys at Duke like a Cam Reddish, and you've got Zion as your teammate, and you've got RJ as your teammate, you're supposed to show up. You're supposed to show up. We're talking about folks, you know, they're destined to be first-round picks. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm looking at Cam Reddish. He's a guy that needs to stay in school because I'm thinking about those 5 to 6 games that Zion was out. And even though he had a couple of games where he dropped 20-plus, there were several more games where he was a non-factor. One of those games, he had 2 points. You're talking about a kid that's 6'5", 6'6", who can shoot. What possible excuse could you have? Trey Jones, he couldn't shoot even though he had a really good game in the Sweet 16. We get that. But Cam Reddish is that third wheel. R.J. Barrett, I would like to see him be a bit more ambidextrous, be able to use his right hand more because even though he had his points, you sort of knew where he was going. He was going to his left every time. So when it really, really got tight, other than that open 3 that he drilled to his credit, he was limited in what he could do because you knew he was a one-armed bandit. Zion was a monster. But Cam Reddish is that third wheel, and that third wheel is supposed to show up, and he didn't.
There was one moment that I've never seen before. So Tracy Wilson, during the last game for Duke, not the game that they lost, literally came on TV and said Coach K was shocked that Cam Reddish couldn't go.
Friday night.
I've never seen Coach K baffled about the intention of a player before. Yes. So as soon as I heard that, that gave me a huge red flag because, look, all those dudes can ball. But now all of a sudden, now I'm worried about this. Now I'm worried about, well, how tough are you? How much do you really want to be on the court and play with your teammates that are preaching we fight for each other, but he's not standing up for that in that moment.
It's the Sweet 16. Jay and I are going back and forth over text, Jalen, because I'm like this. What the hell you mean Cam Reddish ain't playing? I just saw him in warm-ups jumping up and down with the Duke Instagram, whatever the hell that was, the IG. I mean, he looked fine to me. What do you mean he's not playing? And then yesterday, he doesn't start. I don't know why. And then not only do you play but not start, 2 of 8? 2 of 8 from the field? Come on, man. I mean, we've been talking all year. Zion is the monster, but remember, that's he came in and we knew what he was going to do. But we weren't just talking about him. We were talking about him, R.J. Barrett. There was a debate as to whether or not R.J. was even the best player on the team or at the beginning. And then obviously Cam Reddish. It was a 3-headed monster. And Cam Reddish was nowhere to be found.
I respect my esteemed brothers. Y'all did a terrific job of breaking everything down. I wouldn't be the guy to say I told you so, but I'm going to be that guy right now.
You are that guy, though.
Because I've had a couple of debates about Duke this year with both of you. One was with you about whether they would go undefeated or not. We were in Los Angeles, California.
I shot that down. No. That was not.
That was in Los Angeles, California.
No, the debate was whether they be in the starting 5, Jalen.
We had 2 debates, correct.
I don't remember the first debate.
That was one.
Okay.
That was one.
Okay.
2, I had a debate with you about whether they would be the NBA team.
I didn't say start. I said the bottom.
Cavs.
I said the bottom barrel of the Cleveland Cavs.
Okay.
Bottom barrel of the team.
They lost 7 games.
6.
They're not going to the Final Four. They're not going to be the NBA team. Now, I don't want to diminish what I've seen from Zion or RJ. Like, I think they're terrifically talented players. I agree with you. For Cam Reddish, even though he's going to go in the top 10 of a weak draft, His basketball game deserves another year of Coach K.
I agree.
Trey Jones was projected to be a first-round pick.
Oh, no.
He definitely need to go back to school.
Can't shoot.
And so that's what I take from this. And lastly, we can't underestimate this. Coach K, I consider him the greatest modern-day coach since John Wooden. They had just as much talent as any team out there. They struggled against UCF, barely won on the tap. They struggled against Tech. The guy had an open lob, and he missed it.
Yeah.
So they played a lot of really close games.
well,
They
it
weren't
was.
blowing people out.
But I think that's making Steve's point, which is, did they have that much talent? Because at one time this year, we were talking about Cam Reddish like he was the third pick in the draft.
I'm not talking about just Cam Reddish. I agree with Jalen from the standpoint, I'm sorry, coaching is developing, is it not? I'm looking at Cam Reddish from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. I saw no progress. I saw no progress. Zero. Okay? Zion is a monster. That's a given. He came in, he's going out. But we saw what he is. R.J. Barrett, I look at him as a poor man's version of Jalen Rose. Smooth, silky smooth, lefty, southpaw, got the J. He's going to hit open shots. He can get some offense for himself. But in an un-Jalen-like fashion, there were shots, there were big-time shots that Jalen made. Not to say that RJ didn't do it, but you knew where he was going to go. It was almost like Luke Walton talking when they went against the Pelicans, against Julius Randle was eating them up. Fellas, he's going left. He's coming to his left hand every time. And that's RJ Barrett. But Cam Reddish, no development from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. I love me some Coach K, the best. But this year, as it pertains to Cam Reddish, oh no, I saw no development.